Greetings, fellow tank commanders. In this video I'm going to be sharing with you a game that I played in the Lycan T71. This is a Tier 7 American Premium Light Tank, which I just got in the Monster Hunt event. This is not a review, and although I did get a Mastery Badge in this game, this is not the top potential for this tank. I hope you will enjoy this video and that it will help you make a decision on whether to buy or earn the Lycan T71. For this game, my Lycan T71 is equipped with improved ventilation, an enhanced gun laying drive, and a vertical stabilizer. For consumables, I have chosen a large repair kit, a large first aid kit, and an automatic fire extinguisher. This might be a little excessive for a light tank, but I want my first few games with this tank to be good. I have an ammunition loadout of 42 APCR rounds and 18 heat rounds. I am using a brand new crew that I got with the Lycan T71. This crew has no crew skills or perks, and this was only my second game with the tank. Alright, let's roll out. The game that I'm going to be playing is a standard battle on Prokhorovka with Tier 9 as the top tier, one light tank on each team, and no artillery. When I use light tanks on this map, I usually like there to be artillery in the game so that I can get more assisted damage. However, I was grateful that this wasn't the case for this game, since I hadn't really broken in the T71 yet, and I was still getting used to its mobility and didn't want to have to be focusing on dodging artillery shots the whole game. I had nothing special planned for the start of the game, just wanted to go up along the ridge line, get some early game spots, and see who I was going to be fighting. I'd like to make it clear that the Lycan T71 does not suffer from any reductions from the regular T71 that's in the American tech tree. It has all the same mobility, gun performance, reload time, and camouflage values that the regular T71 has. The Lycan T71 does have a big advantage over its tech tree brother tank because it can use any crews that are American. So this means you can put any of your Tier 10 crews in that are stacked with perks and skills. I know that after I initially train this crew with a few basic skills, I'm going to put in my T11 OE5 crew, which is a crew that has a ridiculous amount of crew skills, which I have used to get 3 marks of excellence on 3 different American premium tanks. Since this is a Tier 9 game, I was being extra cautious when I was peeking over and getting my first shot in there. I didn't want to take any damage, because as a light tank, you should really wait to make any dramatic pushes until the late game, when the enemy can't focus fire on you. So I'm content at the moment with just getting a few spots and letting my teammates do some of the heavy lifting for now. The Lycan T71 has some great gun stats. It has 12 rounds per minute, has a reload of 20 seconds, and a reload between shots of only 2 seconds, which means that you can give off a whole clip in about 12 seconds. You can see how great this gun is performing, ripping apart the side of this Super Pershing. It's got an accuracy of 0.39, which is pretty good for a autoloader light tank. And although the aim time is 2.1 seconds, which is just a little slower than the reload time between shots, with a little bit of equipment, it'll easily fix that and you'll be able to be fully aimed in between shots. Wow, look at the camouflage on this Lycan T71. It's like an urban camouflage, but scarier, and it makes your tank indestructible. My game plan had worked so far, but now that I took a big shot from a tank off to the left, I was sorely missing my 6th sense that I have on pretty much all my other crews. I'm quite happy with the penetration which the T71 offers. Although you can have some trouble on Tier 8 and 9 heavy tanks from the front, overall you're not going to have any trouble penetrating the sides of most tanks. Now I noticed that my Leopard PTA teammate was making a assault move, and I wanted to follow him in. I was a little reluctant to lead the push myself since I had low hit points, but I was more than happy to follow a Tier 9 in. Unfortunately, he was concentrated down quite quickly, but I was still able to make a good move here, taking out this hammer, and I used my repair kit on my ammunition, and unfortunately, I did not do any damage to the T32. Now this is a great opportunity to talk about the T71's reload. It takes 20 seconds to reload the clip, but that's not really a long time considering that you have a light tank like the AMX 1390, which has a 40-second reload, which really takes you out of the battle. But when you make an assault move with the T71, you have a chance to get your clip reloaded before taking too much fire from the enemy. So even if my teammates hadn't have been supporting me as well as they were, I would have had the opportunity to have a duel with the T32, which I think I could have stood a fighting chance if I had gotten around his back and just prolonged it while I reloaded. Now I have a brief moment of confusion here as I take in the tactical situation. I decide to go the long route and go up the hill and behind these last remaining 4 heavy tanks. It's a bit risky making this maneuver all on my own, considering I'm easily one-shottable by anyone in the game, but that's part of the excitement of using a light tank. High risk, high reward. Wow, look at that speed. I'm able to get up the hill with very little problem. Always remember the incredible mobility of this tank, because you can make really good flanking maneuvers, even if it does take you a little out of the way, because it's so fast. Now, I'm not as familiar with this ground as I'd like to be, since it was changed in the recent update. So I'm going to err on the cautious side here, and just peek over the top of this hill. I get a chance to shoot at the side of the STI's turret. I am able to penetrate 2 of the shots on the side, and that's pretty good considering that this is a tier 9 heavy tank and his side armor is pretty strong. There was no individual damage ribbon for this, but it was 2 damage hits. I get detected here just as I finish my clip, and I get to reload in safety at the top of the hill. I'm not out of the battle for too long, and I'll definitely be able to get in another clip before my team captures the base. Now, I noticed the Tiger has turned around and is trying to come towards me. I could have easily backed up and ran away, but this was an assured victory, and I was just looking to have some fun, get a bit of extra damage in. And as you see, I get quite a few shots in there, but unfortunately he makes his snapshot, and I get destroyed. I would have liked to have gotten off the last 2 shots in my clip, but overall I'm happy that I was able to survive for almost 6 minutes as a active spotting light tank in a tier 9 game that was very fast moving. Now let's have a look at the post-game stats and see how I did. For this game I was able to earn just over 56,000 silver without any silver multipliers. I got just under 5,000 experience with my 2x daily multiplier, and that would put me at about 2,500 experience otherwise. During this relatively short game, I was able to pick up 2,558 damage and destroy 1 enemy. I also got 680 assisted damage, which I believe would have been a lot more if I had been using one of my experienced crews, which has situational awareness and recon on it. I'm also planning on replacing one of my pieces of equipment with coated optics to help supplement my assisted damage. I am pleased to note that I made 18 penetrating shots and all of them were damages. Unfortunately, I didn't receive any epic awards for this game. I got a Master Gunner and Fire for Effect, along with my Mastery Badge Ace Tanker. I placed at the top of the team in this game, earning a base XP of 1,506. In the detailed report, you can see that I managed to hit 21 of my 30 shots, and 18 of them were penetrating and damaging hits. I didn't really damage many of the modules in the enemy tanks, only a damaged turret on the Super Pershing, and an injured loader on the Hammer. Well, that's all for this game. I will be posting more videos with my Lycan T71 as I get more familiar with the tank, and once I put in my more experienced crew. This game was just to introduce you to the game style of the Lycan T71 and show you what a decent game can look like in it. However, my games in the future will be far more epic. Stay tuned for more videos on the Monster Hunt tanks for this October, and make sure to check out my blog. I will be posting reviews for all the Monster Hunt tanks in the next couple weeks.